You know what, GM? By the way, GM, would you prefer to go by Prax? Is that the name you want to go by?
That it doesn't matter. You can just call me
Doesn't
GM.
matter.
But
Okay.
we are live. So,
Oh.
Captain, whenever you're ready for the log.
Oh, nice.
Captain's log, stardate 48174.3. The Navajo is currently underway on a mission of routine exploration and scientific study within the R'hllor sector. However, we have recently detected traces of a faint automated distress call from the USS Hornet, originating from some unexplored system with an alphanumeric designation. Most curiously, however, the USS Hornet is registered as NCC 1714. Apparently, it's an old Constitution-class starship that went missing over 100 years ago. After the Navajo's long stint in dry dock, I look forward to seeing how the ship and her crew perform in the tasks that await us ahead.
Fun. There we go.
Probably should have cleaned up the bridge a little bit.
Which is kind of vibing.
Positions. So, Zuria will ask, with her legs crossed, sipping a cup of Ractigino. How's she handling today, Ensign?
Flying straight and true, Captain. Nothing
Wonderful.
to report on my end.
Anything new on scanners, Lieutenant?
Not at this time. Well, no more when we get closer to the planet.
I'm certain we will. Engineering, how are those new nacelle modifications holding up?
Nacelle modifications are holding up as expected, Captain.
She'll turn to Commander Caval. Looks like the ship's holding up well, Commander.
Seems everything is going according to plan. What do we know of the USS Hornet's last logged mission? We have data on that currently?
Why don't we pull up what's on official records?
Beep, beep, beep. That was the sound of me doing that.
Just an insight con roll, difficulty 1.
Copy. Would you take investigation as a focus?
Sure.
Alrighty. Not my best work, but I'll just rip it with a standard die. Alrighty then.
The ship can assist with
Cool.
computers con.
I can go for that. Computer's con, was it?
Yeah. Nice. Alrighty. It was diff 1, so we get 2 momentum, yeah? Cool. What do those beautiful computers tell us? Sorry, Captain, my pad's a little slow.
I had to hand type it.
No,
Apologize.
you're good. You're good. Let's see. Appears that Hornet was deployed on a long-range exploration mission in 2268.
That's
Starfleet
22.
lost.
Yeah,
Oh,
typo, sorry.
sorry. It looks like the year is changing live. Well, that's interesting. 22, that one, and looks like Starfleet lost contact with the Hornet in 2271. So only a couple years into its mission. Was the ship in frequent communication before, or?
So this is a little side effect of this region, as it is.
Okay.
There are no subspace buoys to amplify
Gotcha,
transmission, so it actually takes sometimes weeks
Mhm.
or even a month to get a reply from Starfleet, depending on what transmission node. Now, a lot of your communication goes through DS9 currently,
Mhm.
so even then, you're probably on average, about a week transmission, time wise.
Gotcha. And it was probably slightly longer back then.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Do we have any logs of their last known transmissions? Like where if they detected anything and were going to look at anything specific and told Starfleet about it, or?
One sec.
Copy. I must say, Captain, I've always been a fan of the Constitution class designs. It appears that Hornet was heading to the Rolor Nebula for part of its standard exploratory mission. Log doesn't just a standard survey mission of sorts.
A little less
that
standard
was-
for them, I imagine. This is already quite far out for us. This must have been a truly deep space mission for the crew back then.
I'm sure that they were all excited to be underway.
That is
Unless,
how
of
they
course,
talk about
something-
them, isn't it? Their old romanticized 5-year missions.
But previous logs state that the USS Lexington went looking for the vessel, but was unsuccessful in finding any traces of it in localized space, which is interesting considering we are actively and currently picking up a automated distress beacon.
Commander, was the vessel assigned to explore this particular region of space?
Let's see.
The reason I ask is it seems very unlikely that Starfleet at that time would send a vessel out this far. It's very possible that the vessel got lost in some way and has found its way to this part of space.
I guess, is the Rolor Nebula somewhere in the general region of space as the distress call that we're picking up?
We are in the Rolor sector.
So it would stand to reason that it is
Oh,
this is
there's-
part of its standard. Oh, yeah, there we go. So it is. Odds are it was part of its standard mission. It was just one of those real long 5-year expanded expanded long range missions apparently.
You're about there.
Mm-hmm.
So, DS9's office over here. This is where you're roughly about. Currently, I would estimate you're right around between 60 to 70 light years from Earth. Currently.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah, like during the time, like Constitution, they just kind of went everywhere,
Right.
And this is kind of the one area, like, oh, hey, there's this nebula, let's go take a look at it.
Sure.
And occasionally ships go missing. So
Right. And was the U.S. Lexington, was it another Constitution class of the time that went looking
yes,
for it? I gotcha, okay.
yeah, and it was it was nearby, and they looked for it, and for standard search procedures, for several weeks, and then they eventually called it off because
Sure.
they couldn't find any traces of it.
Gotcha.
All the way back to the bridge.
But your theory of potentially some sort of stellar anomaly that left them potentially displaced is still a potential likelihood, considering the Lexington searched for it and found no signs of it. We are detecting an automated distress beacon currently, so that would be strange if they were unable to find it at their own time.
Indeed. And was the ship perceived to be lost in the nebula?
That's probably a large running theory. Based on the reports of its disappearance, it's completely unknown. Their last known heading was to the Valor Nebula, so they could have entered the nebula to complete their scans and found themselves unable to get out potentially. But that is our current mission, is trying to figure it out. It's been some time. The Navajo is a more modern ship. I'm sure that we will have a better chance of figuring out what happened to them.
Any particular specific concerns, Commander Sola?
No concerns, Captain. More curiosity as to why we are able to pick up their distress beacon now, whereas a ship such as the Lexington many years ago was unable to. Perhaps the properties of the nebula are a reason for it. A Constitution class would be interesting to explore and to determine what caused their disappearance.
I agree wholeheartedly. We could be very well solving a century-long mystery, ladies and gentlemen.
Very interesting indeed.
Hey, GM, what does Starfleet currently know about the Rolar Nebula, the system where we're getting the distress signal from?
Good question.
Honestly, not a lot. No.
Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty. Well,
It's just a nebula.
gotcha. Well, how long until we arrive in the region of space by the Rolor Nebula? And do we have, an exact kind of live ping still of the distress beacon? It's still live and actively transmitting?
Someone can give me a control engineering assisted by the ship's communications engineering.
I think I could probably arrange that.
Yeah. Let's double check that beacon, make sure it's still active, Commander.
Would you take computers as a focus?
Yes, your difficulty is actually 2, because it is a faint signal.
Copy. Nice.
I will buy a die with momentum.
Sweet.
Gorgeous. Oh my god.
It's 3 momentum that we get.
Yeah. Nice.
Just the ship's communications plus engineering.
Oh, I'll do the ship.
Okay.
Oh, somebody else rolling the ship? Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And the ship
My
blew
bad.
up.
No, we have enough to squash it if you want.
Would you like to?
Oh wait, that's not a
Yeah, it doesn't.
thing
Yeah, you
anymore.
can't squash it anymore with momentum.
That's so weird.
That's right. That's so
That is
weird.
so weird. Why?
It's like
Why did-
Modifius wants GMs to actually use the complications that come across the table.
Is there still that little clause where the players can choose to add to threat instead?
The GM can take it as threat. I can take it as threat if need be, but that's technically Eliza decision that I do. So I am going to use that
Wording of-
complication though.
Okay.
So you do pick up the signal, but you're getting a lot of interference from it. So it's almost like the communication is now garbled for some strange reason. But you are still picking it up.
We are picking up the signal, Captain, but there is a significant amount of interference. The source is unknown. Most curious.
Is it possible that if the ship is without power, or the beacon, if it is drifted back into closer proximity to the nebula, that it is causing more interferences?
That is certainly possible, but it is undetermined at this time. I will have to conduct further analysis.
I think some caution on our part is also warranted. Ensign, ensure we stop short of the distress call itself by, say, 2 light years. Then let's get a good look at the situation from afar before we proceed closer.
Cool.
You're still a couple light years out from it, so
Nice. All right. Are we capable of doing the long range scans currently of the nebula? To determine like its
so
makeup or
the system in question is not in the nebula. Should probably point that out.
so right. So can you take a look at the big map and show us?
Yeah,
I guess distance of
I forgot
nebula from.
I just added the star. I forgot to add it earlier.
Oh, copy.
Yeah.
The system is specifically an unexplored system called RJ794.
Copy.
Azuria was just too lazy to say that in her log.
Right.
But yeah, it's right there.
Oh, we're still on the bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta activate it. But yeah.
Yeah.
So which star is it again? Sorry. That one. Thank you.
Oh, copy. Okay.
I'm just guessing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, RJ794. So it's near the nebula. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's not in the nebula.
Okie dokie. Okay, cool. Well, then I think following our standard given orders are solid. Continue along. Wait till we'll get close. Drop out. Get long range scans of the system and go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we're within long sensor range of the system and the nebula, Jordan will begin scanning both.
Cool. Nice.
Don't use the roller bridge. It will not be accurate. I didn't bother to
Sure.
set it right, so it could be right, but I don't know. Is there any roleplay you guys wish to do before you arrive near the system?
Solok will do research on Constitution class vessels and their power systems.
Nice. Nice. That's pretty good.
Vogel will chart any potential hazards en route.
I'll look up like personnel specs on the Hornet from its last time. See, captain, first officer, how many crew, that sort of thing.
For Solak, give me Insight plus Engineering, assisted by the ship's computers engineering. Diff 1.
I sent you an IM, just FYI, regarding what we talked about last week.
Oh,
Insight
yeah.
engineering.
Yeah, that's fine.
You okay with that one? I figured it's
Yeah.
sort of like in the same realm.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Thank you. Insight engineering. Difficulty is 1?
Yeah. Vogel, Reason plus Con. Diff 1, assisted by... actually, probably, you have advanced sensors.
Would you accept power systems as a focus for this, even though it is for a historical vessel?
Yeah, if you're just looking up for, like, the power stuff, then yeah, that's fine. Reason plus Convogel, actually be diff 0 since you have advanced sensors on the ship.
Nice.
Assisted by sensors, Con.
Astronav, stellar cartography, astrophysics.
Astronavigation will be fine.
Nice.
So I think
And
we're
you
at
said-
full momentum.
What was the ship roll? Sensors con?
Yeah.
You might have rolled for the wrong ship.
Yeah, you rolled
Oh, I
Artemis.
did.
Oh.
Oops. That's why I don't like coming in as a GM, but it wouldn't log me in as a player.
That's right. I sometimes get confused. I keep thinking that that Prax is Vogel because it says GM next to your name.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
I'm like, do I call the GM Vogel or
Right. Who are you?
who are
Who
you?
am I? Yeah.
I had joined in as a player. Praxis has to give me permissions again.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, it deletes.
There you go.
I do
There you
this.
go.
It's because it makes you as a temporary player. So
Right.
that's why it erases everything. I'll get to the other roll in a second.
I'll just role play it and say, computer, please pull up schematics for power systems for Constitution class USS Hornet based on historical records. Very interesting. GM, would it be okay for me to communicate that information now, or do you want me to wait?
Go ahead. I'm typing that part to Vogel.
Sure.
Cool.
Captain, based upon my research, this is interesting. If the distress beacon has been transmitting for well over 100 years, the reserve power on the vessel would have run out decades ago. Therefore, it is impossible that this distress beacon has been transmitting for that time. Either something fairly recently turned on the distress beacon, or there is something that cannot be explained.
Very interesting, Commander.
Fascinating. So either someone turned it on, or the ship may have just recently returned from.
This is
Being
assuming that
lost.
during that period of time the dilithium crystals would have drained, and that all reserve power within the vessel would have ceased. This is again assuming that there was no one on board to pilot the vessel to a starbase of some kind. Most peculiar.
In your estimation, Commander, could it be possible that the ship systems could have simply turned on by themselves through some sort of fluke, as it were?
A
Some sort of
fluke.
random spark in the circuits might have activated the system. Perhaps a little bit of radiation from a solar wind could have ignited some sort of old programming.
Certainly possible, Captain, but unlikely. For a distress
Hmm.
beacon to be turned on, that is a security procedure, and such a move would have to be done by someone in the vessel. Unless there is, of course, some sort of peculiarity that we're not understanding at this time.
It certainly seems to me like it's more likely that someone or something turned on the ship's distress call. Concerning or exciting, Commander Caval?
It's
Is it
also
possible it could be automated?
It could be, but it is also possible that someone, an alien of some kind, has boarded the vessel and begun to possibly turn things on. Assuming, of course, that the ship has power, but based upon this beacon, it would suggest that there is power of some kind on the vessel. As we get closer, it would be good to do some kind of scan of what power output the current ship is producing.
Let's be on the lookout for any other vessels in the vicinity. Any that could be hidden as well.
Indeed, a former Starfleet or a Starfleet Constitution class vessel, while out of date, would be an attractive target for pirates and scavengers.
Let's have auxiliary power diverted to the long-range sensor, shall we?
Yes, sir. Diverting power now.
Still many possibilities, Captain. It can be equally worrying or curious, but once we get closer, we can start eliminating potential outcomes.
And get closer we shall. Steady as she goes, Ensign.
Yes, Captain.
It appears the ship was commanded by Captain Jonathan Reynolds. Last they checked in, the ship had a full crew complement, so we maybe uncovering some long lost Starfleet deceased. Oh, who knows? With how things such as this are, maybe there'll be someone to greet us still.
We'll find out soon enough.
We'll go ahead and we'll change scenes here.
As another so takes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, you. But
GM.
As long
I did
Servers.
Discord issue.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
green.
Oh, we're green now.
I switched the Discord server back to
Oh.
automatic.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
See what
Sarah
I...
still with us?
Yeah, now it's good for me.
Looks like we're good now. Yep.
Yeah, that was funny.
We
But his
hit a
vocals still
temporal
with us.
anomaly. Oh my god. Yeah.
What do we got? Increased solar flare activity?
Right.
Nice.
Exactly.
It could be. We're in the season for it, so...
Yeah.
So, Azuria would have, after a minute or two passed, she would have then frowned fiercely should something occurred to her. She'll lean and ask more quietly of Commander Cabal. You know, Commander, why don't you pull up the record of that captain again? I wonder if you've gotten a read on the man.
Copy. I'll pull up Jonathan Reynolds' Starfleet service record.
And we'll
Um,
do.
There's no
Go ahead,
role.
Jim.
He's a typical captain for that era, so dives in head first.
Gotcha.
You know,
Taking
Very
after
nice.
good old Kirk. The Hornet. All right. Seems to be relatively standard human, I'm assuming.
yeah, he's human.
Yeah, relatively standard for that era of Starfleet captain. Go-getter, lead from the front, focused on glory and whatnot. Nothing out of the ordinary on his record.
Is that some dismissiveness I hear in your tone, Commander Cabal?
Yes, that's just correct.
Well, fair enough. Personally, I find the attitude of those days a little bit admirable. But it was a different time.
I don't disagree with you there. It's just definitely a romanticized era of Federation history.
Well, let's see what fate ultimately befell Captain Reynolds and his crew.
We're gonna scene change, and about a day passed. You arrive just
Oh.
outside the system.
Nice. Okay. Kill.
Lieutenant, what does the ship see?
Well, I don't know. What does the ship see? Or what did it start seeing when we got within sensor range?
Yeah.
Jorvin would have been scanning the system and the nebula for probably hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at first glance, Captain, six planets in the system, one M-class world, giant moon, gas giant with several moons, rest being Class D, mostly rocky or ice worlds, The system itself is surrounding a K-class star.
Okay. Is the automated distress beacon from the Hornet still clear, or is it still interference from before?
No, GM, I'll scan for both the distress signal and for the Hornet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, said that probably the wrong person. Yeah, Solak was.
You said it was one M class, and the others were Class B worlds, right?
One M class, one gas giant, and the rest are Class D.
Gotcha. Okay.
Captain, the interference that I mentioned before is the same, but same source, but much stronger.
I'm curious.
I could attempt a scan to try and determine the cause of the interference or the point of origin.
I do have, Commander, I do have the Hornet signal. It's coming from the M-class planet.
Oh, on the planet?
Clarification, GM? On the planet or in orbit around?
The signal's just emanating from there. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Are we close enough to get a detailed scan of the planet, or do we need to go in orbit?
You would have to go into orbit to really get a detailed scan.
Gotcha. Okay.
Captain, we need to get within orbit of that world for me to know anymore, or at least see if I can find the Hornet.
I don't suppose I should even ask, can we pick up life signs from this distance?
We're still a little far out, Captain.
Ensign, half impulse. Let's take this cautiously.
Yes, Captain. Half impulse.
Make sure omnidirectional scanners continue probing our surroundings as well. I don't want to get snuck up on. GM, if this is possible, I'd also like to extend my empathy to see if I pick up any emotions from the surrounding space.
That's probably outside the preview of telepathic abilities. From my understanding,
I'm pretty sure Deanna often told Picard what people were feeling hundreds of thousands of kilometers away.
Only if she could see them.
And if the plot demanded it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
sure
really
seeing
good
something
today.
is true. But alright.
The issue is you're picking telepathically you're sensing everyone in the room and past it. So you would hear everyone on the ship. So that's more of a picking up past the ship. That's very difficult to even do it itself.
Maybe if we get closer, you can focus that on the planet or ship or something. All right, cool.
Jim, since we're in transit, is there anything in the local space that scans as out of place or unusual?
Based on the sensitivity you're giving, because it is a Div 0, which is why I didn't make a roll for it. It's just standard stuff that you would see in a system. So there's comets and asteroids and whatnot. It is a system with a smaller star because the star is a smaller star. So it's right in there between an M class or class M star and a class G star. So, and it's not a flare star, so it's a little bit more calmer, and K stars are also known to last a really long time. So it's not
Didn't
really
Deanna
active.
pick up emotions from a cloaked ship?
I have no idea.
Any kind of background?
Anyway, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you don't sense anything
Alright.
other than the ship, and you can take that however you want.
We got a lot of people on the ship. Oh yeah, what is the crew? Oh god, I'll have to look it up.
Close to 1,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably pushing 1,000 folks, huh? That's cool. And I'm assuming he's doing the sensor sweeps. We're not picking up any other ships or any other signals from anywhere. No other ships in system. Is that a separate role?
What are you scanning for?
I was just seeing if there's any other ships in this system at all.
I would have gave that information if you picked it up.
Oh, copy. That's what I was just clarifying. Cool. All right. Cool. Then I guess we're inching along closer, trying to get closer to the M class world. Then yeah. Cool. I think that's the vibe.
As you get closer to, I'm assuming, the Class M world, go ahead and give me a Reason plus Science, assisted by the ship's sensors plus Science. Base difficulty 2, so diff 1, since you have advanced sensor suites.
All right. That's Jorving's on the sensors. I believe in you.
Yep. Sensor operations the focus.
Yes.
And I will give you a momentum for a third dice.
Nice.
How much? What was the difficulty?
It's technically 1. Base is 2.
I'm gonna re-roll one of those for still momentum. Well, but we got 6 momentum. I'm not gonna. Well, we got 5. I'm just not gonna. We got enough momentum. We're not gonna do momentum.
Its ship is sensor science.
Well, here's the thing about 2E, and this is like playtesting feedback immediately. If we can't quash complications with momentum, now we no longer want to roll the ship.
You still have to roll the ship, though.
It forces us to.
Yes.
Oh, that feels bad.
That's crazy.
That feels terrible. At this point, we should just stand up and pull out our tricorders and not use the ship.
Right, long-range tricorder, because
like active feedback for 2E. Yeah. This doesn't make sense.
That's crazy.
There are talents that you can use to re-roll the ship, too. That a character can take.
That's why. Oh god.
But it feels bad that you're just. Oh, we already succeeded. Now we have to risk not succeeding.
Yeah.
Okay.
A complication does not mean you don't succeed. It just means there's something that happens.
Point stands.
Right. Yeah, it is still weird though.
But it is success. Okay. There is a complication. You get the momentum back.
Hold on. Since we don't have access to any of those talents, can I use cautious science to re-roll the ship?
No.
That was a nice try. That was a good try.
No, there are talents in 1E
awful.
that are carried over. Will be carried over into 2E that lets you re-roll the ship.
Huh.
So they're in the core book.
Interesting. Alrighty. Oh, we really need to do something about the ship's sensors. Well,
But I'm going to take that complication as threat.
okay. After this mission, let's try to requisition a work order on the Navajo sensors. Appears to be struggling a little bit.
I could perform a
Well,
diagnostic on them.
It's your first voyage out of dry dock, Commander. It's bound to be a few kinks.
I'm just glad that we're identifying one of them rapidly.
Indeed.
Alright, so what do we see?
Chief engineer slipping on the job.
So no, you're doing great. It's the ship that's taking a nap.
Captain, I'm picking up a strong energy field around that planet. Getting clearer readings as we get closer. Can't seem to get any detailed information through the energy field.
Is the energy field natural or created?
Any
Oh, no,
details
use
about
that.
the field at all?
Can't tell, sir.
Maybe you are right, Commander. The sensors of the Navajo do leave a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Well,
Scan the surrounding space. Is there any sign of other starship activity? Any traces of ion trails, warp fissures, anything like that within the recent days?
Can I make that my free question, GM?
It's technically separate, but I can say there's no roll because it's a diff 0.
So what is the answer?
There are no ships in the area, Captain.
And no traces of them in recent days.
No, sir. No, ma'am. Sir. Captain.
Sir will do, Lieutenant. Very well. Looks like it's just us in this field, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get more acquainted. Ensign, take us closer.
Aye, Captain.
Can we put the planet on screen?
I don't have an image of it. But when you put it on, putting the planet on the screen, you see a typical Class M planet. It's very green on the surface of the planet. Doesn't seem like there's any cities or sign of industrialization. Very, blue, clear waters.
okay. No signs of civilization or industrialization. Copy. That's interesting. Then it would stand to reason that this field is potentially a naturally occurring phenomenon. We need to keep our distance until we can determine what this field's composition is and what it does.
And the only way to know more is to get closer, but to get closer is to risk suffering the same fates of the Hornets. They're going to stay on their toes.
Do you move into orbit?
You could go to yellow alert and raise shields if we're worried about getting closer. But obviously, without knowing what it is, the shields could exacerbate the issue. I'd recommend perhaps staying far away, continuing to do more scans on the energy field, and perhaps sending out a probe to get closer readings to determine how it interacts with our technology.
That's a good idea, Commander. Belay the order to approach the planet, Ensign. Lieutenant, can we send out probes to get a closer scan for us?
I got send I will arm and send a sensor probe to the planet then.
You launch the probe, and then send some information to you.
We're really Star Trekking now, everyone.
Probe underway, Captain.
Very good.
Give me an insight plus science difficulty of 2.
Nice.
I will give you momentum for a third die. I'm gonna guess sensor operation doesn't work this time.
This is kind of analyze, some issues that you're getting with the probe.
So yes, no.
No.
I'm gonna reroll the complication.
Get the momentum back plus a float.
We might as well create a trait here, right? We can spend 2 momentum to do that still. Is that still a thing?
You have 1 float, but give me a sec
Oh,
before you do that.
I will attempt to make those modifications.
Well, that's going to be a control engineering difficulty 2 task to do that.
Well, don't we have that float now, right? So we need to use that now, or it goes bye bye. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So can we like create a trait here to, I don't know, like
Well-
active probe to assist with scans or ask an extra question?
It'd probably help if he explained the issues that he's seeing.
Oh, copy. I was just worried because I thought we were about to do another task roll, so I didn't want to lose it.
Yeah, it's getting some strong EM interference from the energy field around the planet.
Okay, so it is. Okay. Field around the planet. Strong interference. Okay.
All right, can I get free question? Can I get more detailed information about the EM interference? Something that would no, that won't work. Oh yeah, Mike. I'll just get more detailed information about the EM interference so that I can use it to, in case I need it on the next roll for applied research.
Essentially, the EM interference is generated because of the energy field that's around the planet. Because it's interacting with all the essentially the ions. It's essentially all the lovely solar radiation is interacting with it, and it's creating the EM interference.
Okay.
For that momentum.
So was the suggestion that we alter the probe so that way it could pierce the interference?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, actually, Jordan's going to modify the sensors and the comms to filter out the background noise.
Very good.
Yeah, that works too.
That was insight engineering?
Control plus engineering, difficulty 2.
All right, I'm going to spend a momentum. Be a third die.
Nice.
Nice roll.
What was that? A float?
Yeah.
A float?
So 2 float?
Yeah.
That'd be a float.
Oh, copy.
You 1 float, yeah. Momentum is refilled.
Yeah, so you make the modifications and you can clearly communicate with the probe and bypass some of that interference. Give me a reason plus science, difficulty base 2, difficulty of 1 with your advanced sensors, assisted by the ships.
We have that. Do we want to make a trait? Because we still have that 1 float, and we got to use it before it goes bye-bye, right? That's the 2E way is creating traits left and right, yeah? Because we got a float, so might as well use that and another one to make a trait here to, passively assist us with all of our sensor stuff moving forward. So, just use the trait of, EM cutting probe or whatever. That'd be my my thought. So we can just keep it there, so we can help with communication.
You already have that with the roll. That was the diff 2 roll for that.
Right. So then help us out. What's a good, like, we got to do a trait here because we got the float. So what do we got, team?
Can we get something like? I'm really worried we approach the planet and we get sucked in and crash. So like,
Right. Yeah.
can we say that the probe picked up some sort of turbulence, and due to the readings we picked up, we recorded from the probe
it has
correcting
to.
itself?
So it has to originate from the actual task itself,
Which is yeah.
which is cutting through the interference. What I can say is, you could spend the float plus the momentum if you want to up the severity, essentially, of that trait. So the trait would be a potency of 2, meaning that essentially if it would ever escalate, like the aim interference gets hard, or it won't.
Sure.
You won't be hit with the negative on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I think. That's a good idea. That would be my vote.
Makes sense.
Cool. All right. So we got the probe with a potency of 2 then.
Okay, that will take us down to 5 momentum. I'm going to take us down to 4 because I'm going to spend 1 on this difficulty 2 on this roll.
Assisted by the ship's sensors.
I'm going to reroll that complication, which is why I got the extra die.
Yep. Much better.
Sensor science from the ship.
I'm almost afraid to roll.
I swear, if we get another 20 on this, we got to take her back to dry dock. Oh. I was scared there for a second.
So that's 5. So 3. Yeah, looks like I'm floating in.
Commander, what are your thoughts on the? Okay, go ahead, Lieutenant.
Captain, we're getting clearer readings now that made the adjustments to the sensor systems. What I'm largely looking at is jungle vegetation throughout most of the planet. And sir, I found the Hornet. It is on the surface, but the jungle itself seems to be encroaching on the hull. Looks like the local vegetation is starting to eat away at the hull, Captain.
Interesting. Do current scans of this electromagnetic field potentially stand to reason that it could have caused the Hornet's descent to the planet? Is it possible that if they got too close, the engines were disabled and sucked into orbit?
I don't know if that's related enough for me to use my free question on GM.
I don't know. You got three floats, so.
He has one float.
Oh, I thought we got.
You were down to 4 momentum. You
Oh,
gained 3.
copy.
Yeah.
I'm working on the assumption that intuitive the science officer still gets the free question.
So the Hornet crashed on the planet in a jungle. Cool.
Unclear at this time, Captain, but the probe doesn't seem to be affected by it.
Certainly doesn't. Now the question is, Commander Cavall, do I dive the ship headfirst into orbit as well? Just like Captain Reynolds would have done?
My professional recommendation would be negative on that end.
GM, how close to the atmosphere is the energy field? Is it close enough in that we could establish a high orbit and be okay?
That's a good question.
It goes up pretty far. So think like the Earth's magnetic field. It's very similar. So a high orbit, you would still probably, be within that energy field.
And is the probe's current location is firmly affected by the energy field? Just as a clarifying question.
I wrote to him the probe doesn't seem to be affected by it.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got one more obtained information. I've got one float that I need to use.
I already took the float. You have your free question.
Okay. Takes in one hand, half does it in the other. If the probe isn't affected, do I think that a shuttle would be okay?
You're not detecting anything that would seem draining.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think that the most logical course of action is to assemble an away team in a runabout, and head down to investigate the crash site, Captain.
I agree wholeheartedly. I need volunteers, people.
If it's piloting a runabout you need, Captain, I'm your girl.
I was hoping you'd say that, Ensign.
I will volunteer, Captain.
Myself as well, of course.
Good.
And you will be remaining here safely on the ship then, Captain?
Nice try, Commander. Absolutely.
Of course. Have to test the waters early, at least.
Lieutenant, up to stretch your legs.
If you wish me to go, Captain, that's part of the job.
Oh, I should have gave you two. It's very hot on the surface, so
Oh.
Though it would be a little uncomfortable for me and the CO.
I only want people on volunteer basis, Lieutenant. I'm certain the rest of us will be fine as is. If you're staying behind, you'll have the call.
I mean, nothing we can't handle, but it's a little warm down there.
It's a little annoying. Well, it's not what we're used to, but well, been in Starfleet for some time now. I've managed to adapt.
Will it be, Lieutenant? Want to be exploring abandoned old Constitution class, or do you want little stints up here in the big chair?
Happy to follow your orders, Captain.
All right, pack your thing. If we're going somewhere, if we're going down to a jungle, maybe a few iced tropical drinks are in order to take in the runabout as well. Let's go, people. Miss Johnson, or Mr. Johnson, you have the con.
Radical. Yeah.
And Ensign, make it clear to the rest of Beta ship that if something happens and we need your help and you abandon us, I will find my way back, and there will be heck to pay.
we'll never dream on it.
He'll smile.
Captain, I'm happy to remain on the ship if you wish it as first officer, but also as chief of security, I would prefer to be with you if you insist on going on the mission.
I think we'll need our best down there to figure out what happened to the Hornet commander. So I'd like you with me.
Very good. I request that you do not leave my sight, obviously.
Should this kind of give him a smile.
Yeah. Cool. As we gear up. I'm assuming atmosphere is good. We're not gonna have any issues.
Yeah, it's actually a very rich and dense because there's a lot of plant life, so it's actually oxygen levels are probably higher than some of you are used to because of it. There's a lot of dense fauna and other things. So expect all varieties of different animals and insects on the surface. It is very humid as well.
Copy.
So think this world is a very, very tropical world.
Cool.
Interesting.
I think standard Type 2s should be fine. I don't believe that we'll need anything beyond that.
I will bring along my engineering kit and my tricorder.
Oh yeah, we should also definitely bring a medical character just in case. It's a standard protocol to bring some sort of medical personnel.
Okay, so who's going in the runabout?
I think all of us, and then a medical person, right?
Price or Vigo?
Probably Vigo.
Yeah, I built him as a combat medic, so he's probably good to bring along.
Vigo the Carpathian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the name, I was like, Ghostbusters 2.
I made a surgeon character, but I haven't uploaded him into Foundry yet.
Nice.
Uh,
Can we? I guess while we're doing this, can we? I guess scan atmosphere and EM field and see if it would interfere with transporters in case we need those.
you have that advantage, so
Cool.
which helps with the comms and sensors. So I already told them like it would not affect transporters, but you have to
cool.
be in orbit around the planet in order to transport down.
Copy. Okay, makes sense. So we'll leave that with the standing bridge crew that for transporters to be operational, orbit will have to be a thing that you're in. Cool. Yeah.
Is the science officer going?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Come on, buddy. What got out of that adventure?
Who is on going to be replaced? So
That's a
Joseph
good
is
question.
taking that. You have a con.
We have
Is
Garal.
Garl-
He's another helm officer, right? Dude, I love the Tellarite representation we got going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just throwing your supporting characters out there.
Yeah, you just chuck them on the scene for sure.
You never know.
Yeah, they're hanging out. They're on the bridge.
Tellarite mullets. This is great.
It doesn't generate that well sometimes.
No, it's
That's
a really good
perfect.
portrait.
Yeah.
All right. So 5U plus Vigo.
Is this Bajoran?
Yeah.
So his first name is L.
Elg.
So he would still be like Mr. Vigo, right?
Yeah.
Formally.
Lieutenant Vigo, I think.
Lieutenant Vigo. Cool. I always get there. It's hard for me to figure out the order.
Right.
Me too. Me
Backwards,
too.
yeah.
It should be simple, but I just keep mixing it up.
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah. I deal with it too.
All right.
All right. So the runabout. I'm assuming you have it prepped for
Oh yeah.
personnel.
Yeah. I mean, the standard one, even without the personnel ad, can have 6 people, right? I don't know what the other
There.
the modules on it. I always forget. Right, because they have those customizable modules. They're
what's-
up above, right?
Yeah. What's the name of this lovely runabout?
I thought the Wabash was good.
Yeah, that works. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I guess the passenger one. I mean, no point in the weapon one. The long duration mission is not going to be applicable here, and I don't think there's any point for it to
It could be
be
if we
a
get
cargo.
stranded. We've been silenced.
I mean, I would.
That's true. Yeah.
I would assume you're either doing long duration or
Yeah.
passenger.
Yeah, I guess the long duration is probably best because the standard one can hold 6 people, right?
I would assume.
Um,
Assuming not.
Yeah, you can still hold 6 people in there. It's just it has sleeping quarters for 4, so you just have to hop bunk
Yeah.
it if need be. If
Cool.
you're down there for a while. So.
Cool. That'll work.
All right.
Wait, what if we find survivors? Or, descendants?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
We could bring
Then we'll
down
just
more
come back
shuttles.
and grab one. Yeah, we'll
right.
just come
We
back
can
and
go
grab
grab
our
the
shuttles.
personnel one.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
Let's go.
Give me a. So you depart the Navajo. You enter in orbit. As you kind of get within the energy field, you notice like it kind of comes back, but you notice like your control panel the control panels across the Wabash all sort of glitch out a little bit and then kind of return to normal when you first enter it, as like the computer confiscates for the energy field. You enter atmosphere. It's a smooth ride. As you approach the site where the Hornet's at, you see essentially the Hornet partially covered in jungle growth. Structurally, it seems somewhat intact. One of the nacelles is kind of the pylon to the nacelle is like broken slightly due to whatever the crash, how it, because it obviously crash landed on the planet's surface. And you kind of see like the path that it took when it came in, because the jungle is not as dense. There's still like it regrew, but you can kind of see like, well, it's not as that's kind of obvious, like how the growth was.
Right.
But yeah, in order to find a landing spot close by, give me let's make this a reason con difficulty of 2.
Just after I take a few pictures of the crash scene. Never go anywhere without my my trusty camera.
Yeah. Nice.
You said diff 2?
Yep.
Take one of those threats.
Thank you.
Well, I got
right up to lucky
on, so.
right up to lucky 13.
Just means I'm gonna roll bad, I guess, right?
Damn.
The shadow assist, or was this just
this is just to find a spot. Like, oh, that looks good. So 2 float. If you want, you can spend for the advantage. Like, it is really close. You find a really good spot, like right next to the ship, so it's not a real far walk.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So yeah, you managed to find a spot, and it's just you look at it. It's like it's kind of under. It's a really prime spot. It's almost like it's under the saucer section. That's sort of embedded into the ground. Give me a control or daring con difficulty of 1.
Oh, I had untapped potentials. Does that do something?
Oh, roll it. Yes, roll. Actually, no. If we're gonna go by 2E rules, you actually have to select an attribute. So, for that, untapped potential.
Oh, you have to choose one
attribute. Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Swap that bitch out when 2 equals. That's crazy. I would assume con. Is it attribute or? Oh.
Well, we'll use 1E for the time being, but just give me a challenge dice.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll use my control for that then.
Okay, well then just roll a d20, and if it's under.
Oh well, this is reason, so I don't think it would apply then.
Yeah.
No.
Is it attribute or department?
No, it is attribute. I know that.
Yeah, we'll use it for control, just so we get that
Mhm.
cleared up. So no worries.
No, it. Yeah, you pick one attribute when taking this down. When you succeed at the task, which you bought one or more dice by any means, roll 1d20 after the roll. If the roll is equal or less than the attribute you take, you gain 1 bonus momentum. If the roll is higher, then add 1 threat instead.
Yeah, but you roll with reason, so.
No, it doesn't matter. It's triggered by when you buy one or more dice with momentum or threat.
So what's the point of selecting the attribute?
The attribute is selecting which attribute you're using to roll for when you roll the untap potential to see if you get the bonus momentum. So you would pick like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Got it. Okay. I see. I thought you meant that you have
So
to
it doesn't
roll
matter
with.
then.
Yeah,
Right.
it
So it
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Weird. Okay.
So yeah, you just roll a d20, a single d20.
Well, I mean, the only untapped potential thing are on the character sheet, so they haven't exactly explained how it works yet.
Right. Yeah, that's true. No.
Yeah, that's actually from. Yeah, it is from one of the character slots. So you have a bonus momentum.
Yay.
Of which we have a lot.
Well, it goes away. So.
Yeah, it's a bonus momentum.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna land this really good, knowing that I just found this excellent landing spot really close to the ship.
You can spend another amount that it's.
So
Can potency 3?
Can I create an advantage that I'm coming in at a perfect angle to make the landing to help with that whatever?
Sure, if you spend that
landing?
plus a momentum, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Be like perfect landing site, easy access to get back to the shuttle, no brush anywhere.
So yeah, then it's controller daring con assisted by the runabouts engines con with the advantage difficulty of 1.
Well, I still got the bold, so I guess I'll give you another threat. Did my roll come up? Oh, there it is.
Just need the runabout, but you succeed.
Yeah, after the runabout rolls, I might consider re-rolling.
I want to.
Yeah, I'll roll it if nobody else wants to. What am I rolling?
Yeah, engines con.
Let's go, baby.
Okay.
I don't think I'll re-roll anything.
Yeah.
So roll a d20 because you do have a float now, so you're back up to 6. And okay, so yeah, you have 1 bonus momentum. So you have essentially 2 float currently.
Dear God. I guess use it for in case to land the shuttle in a way to allow for a quick exit in case we need to rush out of here.
Yup, that works.
Okay. So yeah, you land on the. You literally could see the Hornet with some vines hanging from its saucer section above you as you make a perfect landing.
Sorry, Captain. I tried to get us closer than this, but I guess a 25 meters is best I could do for now.
Which is I think that is well within above acceptable levels, Ensign.
I don't know if your academy professors, I don't know how strict your academy professors were, but no demerits here for that, Ensign.
Well, I've been flying shuttles since I was a little girl, Captain. This is like second nature to me.
Well, I think everyone here is glad to hear it.
Very good. Everyone prep. I lead. Rigo, you have extensive combat experience. Watch the rear. Heads on a swivel. We don't know what we're walking into, so everyone just keep your eyes peeled.
Very good, Commander. Oh dear. Mr. Vigo, I don't suppose you packed any insect repellent in that first aid kit of yours?
Right. What's in a standard medical kit? Yeah. I got my off spray.
It's thermo generator, painkillers, hypo spray.
No bug spray. All right.
Syria covers her mouth in kind of that like exaggerated, girly way. She's like, if I break out in hives, Commander, I'm afraid you might have the last laugh on me.
All right, everyone, just follow my lead. Stay close together. Eyes open. And scanners out. Search for life signs, power signatures. Try to nail down the exact location in the ship of its distress beacon. All standard operating procedure. See if there's any communications, all that sort of fun stuff.
Very good. Think everyone's in position. Let's proceed, Commander.
Yeah. Can they do some scans before we open up and head out? Any readings from the ship, since we're in very close proximity. Communications, life signs, that sort of thing.
I mean, you could attempt to scan through the runabout.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What are you scanning for?
My suggestion was a scan for any communications. Now that we're on the planet.
I'll just give you the communications part. It's clear you're getting the beacon.
Okay, copy. Yeah. And then life signs.
That will be a reason, science, or medicine. Difficulty of 2. This is by the runabout's sensors, science or medicine.
Yeah, I guess Jorvan can do that from the ship before we depart. Yeah.
Sure. Well, since I'm using the shuttle sensors, I assume the sensor operation focus works.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a momentum for a third die.
And then the runabout has high resolution sensors as well.
Yep.
So if
sensors science, which really is not much help, but
nope. But
I've been assuming, but just in case, not that it matters on this roll, but in 2E, does the ship still always get a focus?
Yes.
Cool.
So that's 4. You have a float. You are not detecting any human life signs aboard the ship.
Captain, I'm not seeing any life signs other than the jungle. Life signs. Does scan pick up any local fauna?
Mm-hmm.
You're not detecting any life signs within the ship itself.
But nothing around us in the surrounding jungle?
Oh, there's tons of stuff around in the jungle.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Like, there's insects,
Sure, but a lot of very small
various
stuff.
mammals.
Okay. All right.
Typical things you find in a jungle. So
Sure. Yeah.
snakes,
All right.
maybe. Who knows?
Mhm.
But with no life signs on board the vessel, it does make it interesting what tripped the beacon.
Very true. I doubt it was a member of the local fauna that turned it on, and it appears that the suspicions were correct, and the Hornet has been here for some time.
And how does the ship still have power? If it
Power,
crash
right?
landed here over 100 years ago, how does the ship still have power?
Questions we're here to find out, gentlemen.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess it's the time to open up the runabout and go. As we open it up, I'll come up to the Navajo and be like, "This is Commander Craval. Away team will be checking in every 10 minutes. If we are late, then immediately attempt to correspond with any of us."
Understood. Good luck. Navajo out.
Alrighty. Yeah, let's open her up and I'll lead the way towards the Hornet. Captain is going to be in the center of the six pod group for extra security.
It's fair.
You open up the runabout door. As you come out, you get a blast of heat, and it is incredibly humid. To you, especially to our Andorian and Anar crew members, it is nearly unbearable. But yeah, you are really close to the ship, so there's really no rolls to walk towards it. But you do see, typical, a lot of plants, ferns. You see little critters moving around, on the dirt near the ship. And you make your way close to pretty much an airlock. Which to where you landed, and you'll have to kind of sort of climb. It's a little high up.
Like walk climb or like
Climb.
climb.
Like
Okay.
you can bare fist climb it. Like it's not impossible, but
okay. Nice. Funnily enough, I chose my pastime as free climbing. So, woo! I'm here, baby. Yeah, Buff Andorian will lead the way.
give me a fitness plus con difficulty of 1.
Nice. Would you accept my pastime focus of
Yes,
free climbing? Let's
will.
go, baby. I'll get to it and be like, I'll head up first and make sure that it's safe. I'll put the Ushan in my belt and the phaser and just jump up.
To float. You manage to climb up towards the airlock swiftly and easily. You notice that when you approach the airlock, that the control panel is active.
So there is power to the whole ship then, or at least to this portion of the ship.
Most interesting.
Interesting. I'll yell down. I'll be like, "Because this access panel has power, I will wait to open it. You all to come up, and I'll kind of lean down and throw a hand down to, I guess, assist the away team as they continue climbing up.
For that 2 bonus minute, I was just you could use it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can
Get
I make a
everybody
trade?
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
I'll just
help
do it that
rapid climbing. Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, you help everyone get up. Obviously, I'm assuming you open the airlock door.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for everybody to get up there, but yes.
Well, literally it's.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like you're saying like a kind of like on a ledge kind of this. Like you would have to open the airlock door to get people like for there to be enough room for everybody.
Yeah, then I would open it before everybody comes up and just kind of clear the entrance briefly.
You don't see anything. It is a bit of a reminder of like the going through like a hollow museum of the older starships.
Mm-hmm. Are lights and everything on?
Yes, they do seem to be on.
Interesting. Okay. Then yeah.
Is there an access panel in the hallway for power and systems?
There's lights are on. You hear this light. We'll go. There's the typical comm unit on the side. There's really no panels on the walls. This is an older, Constitution TOS style. But you do have like little intercom panels spaced every so often.
Okay. Interesting.
But there is the only control panel there is for the airlock controls. It's right there.
Got it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, standard protocol would be to check core systems first, bridge, navigation, engineering. It appears power is still on, strangely enough.
I should like to check engineering first, if I may, Commander.
I tend to agree with that assessment, Captain.
That makes the most sense. I'm curious myself how this thing's still running.
Captain, I would recommend our party go to engineering first. We could get the source of what's powering the ship still, and we might be able to determine who or what turned on the beacon.
They all do seem to be in agreement. Let's head below. I wonder if we're going to have to crawl through one of those ladders to get there.
As you start walking, you get near like a turbo lift door. It opens up.
Oh,
This is interesting.
It would show that at least internal systems are enabled. Based on what I'm seeing, would I be able to determine whether or not, just based on what I'm seeing, GM, would I be able to determine whether or not minimal power has been turned on, or that the ship's power looks to be on?
It appears that the ship's power is on.
I have a question while we're here. Computer, are you listening? Is it on? If power is on?
In Constitution class vessels, you were not able to access the computer in a hallway. You had to be at a designated console.
Speaking of which, Captain, with your permission, I'd like to go. I'd like to go to the computer core and see what I can access from there.
that'll be our second stop, Lieutenant. I don't think we should be splitting up just yet.
Of course, Captain. With no other life signs aboard, it doesn't seem to be much danger.
I still wouldn't tempt the goddess on that.
I would agree. Just because there's no danger presently does not mean there isn't danger on board the ship.
Commander, I studied the system. I studied the vessel before we arrived here. I do know a way in which we can get to engineering.
Very well. Then let's by all means lead the way.
Would that involve going down those overly long ladders?
You really want to go down one of those ladders, huh?
I just can't imagine a ship without Jeffrey's tubes, honestly.
Oh, this is cool.
A little makeshift map for you guys.
Nice.
Very nice. Great job.
Out of curiosity, GM, are there any are the telepaths of the party picking up anyone else on this ship besides the six of us?
Nope. Just you guys.
From what I remember looking at the schematics, main engineering is this way, in this direction.
It's a fascinating ship design, rather elegant for its time.
Constitution classes are often referred to as elegant, classical, very rugged vessels, in service for many years in Starfleet.
If everyone's just stay close together.
we're all leaving.
Twos.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. Wait. I will. I'll remain kind of at the juncture of the doorway. Be like, I will remain to watch the door. All of you just stay together. I'll just kind of post up and stand watching the only kind of main access point to engineering, I guess.
What do I see, GM, as I walk into main engineering?
What do your alpha see?
Oddly enough, you don't hear the essentially the reactor, like the typical hum of the warp core.
Interesting.
Captain, I believe, based on the designs, this station right here was often the chief engineer station in engineering. I would like to use this panel to access and see what is powering this ship.
By all means. I trust you're well aware of how Nox blow us all up.
I will endeavor not to do so.
That's neither.
I'll poke my head around the corner and be like, what did I hear about blowing things up?
It's all good here, Commander. No
All
one's been
right.
eaten yet.
Give me reason plus engineering, difficulty of 3.
Difficulty 3. Engineering. Debating. Would my neural interface work with such an old vessel?
No.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Ooh, nice. That's
All
fun.
right. I do have cautious engineering, so I will buy a die. I'm debating whether or not to buy a second die because it's difficulty 3.
Go for it. We've been absolutely building up these momentum.
I will do so. I will do so. All right. So 4 die. I'm using the panel there. So would you allow for computers as a focus? Or power
systems?
Power systems. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I will re-roll the complication with cautious engineering.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
All right. Yep, that meets the difficulty.
Older technology that I'm not familiar with. Elegant would not be what I would describe this control panel, but efficient.
Okay.
Data is returning to me now. Captain Vessel says these did have access tubes, though they were not at the time called Jeffrey's tubes. There were more tubes to access different areas of engineering that were not necessarily as accessible, often using red ladders as a way to get access to such areas.
Core system is very fun.
Very interesting. Commander.
Captain, according to the information from this panel, the warp core reactor is completely drained. The batteries, however, are fully charged and seem to replenish due to some unknown force.
How very curious.
An unknown energy is replenishing the batteries. Batteries of this kind usually give out fairly soon after the warp core goes offline, only meant for emergency situations only. So for it to be replenished by some unknown energy is most peculiar. I am unable to determine right now whether this energy is harmful or not, or the nature of the energy.
Could it be related to the planet's magnetic field?
Possibly. In fact, I would say quite logically, but more information would be needed to give you a definitive answer.
Then that's what we'll need to look for, Commander. Where can we find more information? What should we investigate next?
Well, we know the source of the ship's power now. Now it's to determine whether or not we can figure out who turned on the emergency beacon. I believe the computer core was the area that you wanted to access next. It could be possible for us to access that core via a panel here in main engineering. Or, if I recall correctly, the chief engineer's office is in, and he points this direction.
Lead on.
Perhaps we can,
Lieutenant.
from that same location, we can gather chief engineer's logs. Could tell us exactly what happened prior to the crash.
Very possible. I believe the room is in here. Is there anything that I see when I walk into this room, GM? That looks...
What you see, desk, computer terminal.
Is this the old school computer terminal, or is it on the desk?
It's on the desk.
Okay. I walk over to the desk, and I invite Lieutenant Jorvan to sit here at this part of the desk. Say, Lieutenant, you might be able to see if you can access the computer core from that location. I can attempt to look and see if I can find the chief engineer's logs, or maybe even the captain's logs, depending upon where they're located.
Very well. Can I access the computer core from here? Oh, and can Jorvan route all this through his tricorder?
You probably would have to, I'm thinking it probably should be a task because it is older equipment. So, to route it through your tricorder, just give me like a control engineering difficulty 1.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because probably Jorvan's tricorder is
well,
a little set up a little differently since he's blind.
Oh,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Hey,
cool.
all the buttons are push buttons, by the way. So there's no. automatic tactile.
Okay.
You just don't know what the buttons do because there's no readout.
All right, here's my control engineering.
Gives us 1 momentum, I think, right?
Nice.
So yeah, you got your tricorder interfaced into the computer. Granted, your tricorder feels a little bit slower because computer core seems to be some lag time.
Understand. All right, now I'll see if I can connect to the computer core. Probably I want to try to find probably the captain's logs and see. Well, let me start with the captain's log.
And I could check on my end for the engineer's logs.
Hell yeah.
I probably forgot to give you guys information. You do find skeletal remains, as you're walking to engineer.
Oh!
Just so you know.
I was
I was
just
like,
about to ask
I
that.
should have said that. I was like, wait, oh yeah, look at this. I should have said something as you walk. There are
Oh my
skeletal
God, a
remains.
corpse!
There are.
We're just kind of wandering around here, like, yeah, it's pretty cool,
Like, imagine you guys are checking all the computers, and I kind of walk around the corner. I'm like,
is no
there's
one going to
nobody-
mention the skeleton
right?
sitting?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like, was there a skeleton in the chair that I just sat in?
Get out of my way. There's computers to look at. Like,
So look,
It's a lot of bit of
there's
furniture.
a lot of appears to be disc tapes, or little carts next to you. I'll give this to you. They didn't store logs on the computer core. They stored them on the disc tapes.
The disc tapes.
Yeah, the cart tapes.
right. So there's a bunch of those disc tapes on carts around.
There's a bunch of yellow, cards here.
Mhm.
But what are you trying to get from the computer core, other than logs?
Then let me pull down the automated sensor logs.
The ship seems functional. As you pull the logs, it looks very similar to the logs you took earlier in the runabout.
Okay. Any indication in the log of what caused the ship to go down?
Mhm.
That would be probably in a log. But give me reason plus engineering, difficulty 3.
Yowzers. Okay, I'll spend 2 momentum and give you a threat for 2 extra dice.
Can I assist him with this?
Yeah.
Lieutenant, would you like my assistance?
I think I've got it.
All right, then.
It would seem that as you go through sort of the sensor readings, and you go back, because there's a lot of sensor data, and some of the data is kind of like lost over time, just because the computer core had to automatically delete things. But you get back during the time, like when they crashed, it seemed like the ship was receiving a lot of navigational errors. Trying to best describe this.
Interesting. So they were. You said navigational errors.
Yeah, it was received. Essentially, it's like the data is like artifact.
Gotcha.
So like the ship, it was almost like it was being pulled into a direction.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Can I tell from a record of the commands given to the various bridge consoles what kind of things the crew did to try to counteract it, just so I can see what didn't work?
Um, it seemed like the ship was going like heading towards the planet. They were reversing the engines, and it didn't have any effect.
Hmm.
Can I tell? And again, I'll spend a momentum towards obtain information if I need to about how far from the planet they were when this started to happen.
Standard orbit.
Gotcha.
This would suggest that our caution about getting into orbit around the planet was warranted.
Well, it appears the Navajo has been unaffected while remaining in high orbit so far, so at least we've potentially side-skirted that issue.
We're so.
That is interesting. Ensign Vogel, did you encounter anything like that when you piloted this in?
I didn't detect anything out of the ordinary. I mean, it was pretty smooth sailing.
It might be the source of the energy that's powering the batteries. There might be a relation.
It's possible. Perhaps we should. Well, Commander, what did you find the chief engineer's logs, at least, or the tapes for it?
Do you need me to do a roll for that, GM?
You just kind of go through the cards. You put one in. The engineer it goes. Comment like they managed to make a smooth landing. Structure integrity is holding, but he's unsure how long the batteries will hold. He commented on having to relieve some of his crew members. They seem to be ill. And then the logs just kind of end there.
So I play those logs out loud, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Crew members were falling ill. They landed the ship. It seems like when the ship landed, the crew were still alive. Perhaps even maybe having a controlled landing of some kind. But since then, things have changed.
Yeah, how many corpses or skeletons are present in engineering?
Are they all wearing red shirts?
Mm,
They're all wearing red shirts.
Gotcha.
But there's not too many. There's only a few.
So not full.
Not a full complement. And strangely, even when you're walking around, you haven't gone into like crew quarters, but you don't see like there's anyone kind of laying around in the hallways a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to check the batteries to see if I can determine the source or the type of energy that is replenishing them.
It's just electrical energy being replenished.
So there's nothing special about the energy at all.
No.
Very interesting.
All right.
When you check the batteries, does it look like they were jury rigged somehow by the chief engineer, or is the recharging coming from outside the ship or somewhere beyond this room?
I'm gonna kind of play the medical officer for a little one thing where I was like,
Oh yeah.
unfortunately, there's the decomposition of the crew is, well, they're too far gone to really do any sort of autopsy to tell how they died.
Would you be able to determine how long they have been dead?
They've clearly been dead for 100 years for the rate of decomposition, or at least over probably a decade. Over a decade, at least.
Captain, this still doesn't explain how the emergency beacon was turned on. If the crew did not survive, and if there was nothing or no one else here to turn that system on, what turned on or who turned on the subspace beacon?
I think that our next location is communication consoles, or whatever the apt location is to activate the distress beacon. So most likely the bridge.
If we have to go to the panel itself and scan for fingerprints, that's what we'll do.
Can Lieutenant L, can you scan the air here? Check for any sorts of toxins or airborne viruses. The chief engineer mentioned that individuals were sick.
There
If it is
is a concentration of pollen in the air, but most part, well, at least outside, inside the ship, there seems to be relatively. Ship was I'm blanking on the word, hermetically sealed. So any
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
contamination from the outside appears to be contained or was filtered out long ago.
Well, is it confirmed that the ship was hermetically sealed? We don't know if there were any breaches in the hull on its crash landing, even if it is a safe landing to the planet.
He assumes it is because the air quality is different.
Gotcha.
Because there's no pollen inside the ship, which means that none of the a lot of the elements are not getting in.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
We should probably stop at sick bay on the way to the bridge, Captain. See if we can find the CMO's logs.
Agreed. Commander Solok, you seem to know your way best around here. We need to go to sick bay, the communications relay, and then the bridge.
Very well, Captain. Follow me.
Cool.
If you have maps for those things, I'll be very impressed, GM.
Right. Ew, fun.
A short turbo ride up. Sorry, sick bay is right there, right where the Solok's at.
We'll go through the obligatory, trying to tell the turbolift where to go. Nothing happens.
Right, yeah.
And we realize we have to touch the lever.
Do we see any skeletons in here?
You see a skeleton of a person who looks like they were strapped to the bed. But that is surprisingly the only one you see.
Interesting.
Is it here? Or which bed?
We'll just say it's here.
Okay.
Is the ship's lighting on, or are we using flashlights?
The lighting's on.
Well, if the turbo lift was on.
Cool.
Captain, this patient looks like they were strapped to this medical bed.
See if we can access CMO's log, find out what went on here.
Lieutenant Vigo, it might be worthwhile to try and access the medical logs there. They should be there somewhere on the chief surgeon's desk.
Yeah, he filters through the logs. And...
What on beta Z is this for? Oh.
The bathroom.
Seems that there's some recent tapes here. Which one? Kind of motions through which. Looks like there's a couple logs here from the CMO. Do you want to go to the nearest, the closest one, or the one that seems to be a couple of days before this one?
I would say that we would do the few days before and then work our way forward.
Yeah.
Captain, I do believe there is a barking dog on the vessel.
Find it.
Sorry, that's my dog going crazy.
Okay.
Your ship pet.
Chief Medical Officer's Log, USS Hornet, Stardate 7542.3. Dr. Elijah Chen recording. Medical examination of the crew revealed no major injuries from the crash, but several individuals were experiencing unusual symptoms. Headaches, dizziness, and nausea seems to be widespread. And the initial scan suggests that they may be linked to the exposure to the planet's atmosphere or environment. I have administered standard treatment and recommended rest for the affected personnel. However, I am concerned about the potential long-term effects and will continue to monitor the situation closely. Further investigation is warranted to determine the cause of these symptoms.
And what about the last medical log entry, or the most recent one?
You can hear panting, almost like a tiredness coming from her voice. Chief Medical Officer's Log, USS Hornet, Stardate 7544.5. Dr. Eliza Chen recording. The situation on board the Hornet has become dire. The crew symptoms have worsened considerably, with many now experiencing severe physical and psychological distress. Our medical supplies are nearly depleted, and we lack the means to adequately treat those in need. I fear that we may be reaching the point of no return. Despite our best efforts, we have been unable to determine the cause of the crew's ailments or find a solution to alleviate those suffering. It is with a heavy heart that I acknowledge that the possibility that we may not survive this ordeal. My only hope now is that our distress signal reaches someone who can offer assistance before it's too late.
And how many days after the previous log was this one?
Oh, it was several weeks.
Several weeks. Okay.
So they were here. They were here on the planet for several weeks, exposed to the atmosphere, causing adverse conditions and reactions within the crew. It also, the medical officer also says that the distress beacon was turned on at that time. Why did it remain on, and did no one hear it? That is the question.
Starfleet log stated that the Lexington went looking for the Hornet soon after its
disappearance, it is interesting that they were unable to detect the beacon at that time. Interesting. And what this chief medical officer, what was her species? Do we know?
Oh, human.
Interesting. But she didn't seem like she was affected, right? She didn't.
There
Based
was
on
a
her
tone in
based on
her
her
voice.
log,
There was
yeah.
a tone in her voice, like she, even though she didn't say she was affected, it sounded like she was suffering some sort of stress or ordeal herself.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, might I recommend we rapidly do a preliminary search of the vessel?
I believe our next step was to go to the bridge.
Agreed.
The comm relay as well, Commander.
Yes, the comm relay.
Azuria emerges from the bathroom. Looks like she applied a fresh coat of makeup and fixed her hair.
Cool.
Come out here in the hallway real quick. Would I know where the communications relay is?
It was actually back towards engineering, but
There are relay junctions in some hallways on Constitution classes. Is there anything like that here?
potentially.
Yeah, let's look for one of those, I guess.
Am I able to
I'd like
scan to find one?
I'd simply like to find wherever it was most likely someone could have turned on the distress beacon.
It's probably on the bridge.
Most likely the bridge, Captain. This looks to be
Yeah.
the laboratory here for the Chief Medical Officer.
Very well. Let's head there. Hoping we can also access the captain's logs from there as well.
Captain's logs would potentially either be on the bridge or in the captain's quarters.
Indeed.
I'll note that this deck is where you would find some of the senior staff quarters at. So if you're wanting to look for the captain's quarters,
Let's do that.
Yeah, we're already on the deck. No need to. If we do it now, no need to backtrack.
There's another medical room.
Still move
Some
slowly,
trepidations. Not
carefully.
looking through a dead man's possessions, but I suppose we'd have to.
This is a conference room of some kind.
All right. I guess just
Another medical bay.
no,
this is quarters.
Quarters. That is the science officer's quarter. Or no, sorry, the CMO's quarters. When you enter the room, you do find the remains of what appears to be a, skeletal remains. You do see like a blue uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, it is possible that this is the Dr. Eliza Chin that we were hearing on the medical logs.
I see.
I guess are we able to tell from their like comm badges who they are?
They didn't have comm badges in that time.
They have little placards.
Do they have the?
Yeah,
Well, right.
We
I
would
guess
be
not
able to
badges,
see
but they
what
have
their rank.
yeah,
We'd be able to
yeah.
see their rank based upon
yeah.
their.
There's the emblem. They changed in like Strange New Worlds and Discovery.
Yeah.
But if you pull it, it's not a
right.
comm badge, but it's sort of like dog
Their
tags.
insignia thing. Yeah.
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 And you pull it off, you would be able to see like the name, like the rank name, and then their serial number.
Okay, I would just like to be cataloging, which crew we find dead while we're going through and doing this.
So this is Dr. Chin that we see in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just start. I'll be cataloging
the confirmed casualties, that sort of thing.
Like the doctor, Vigo will note, appears she died in her sleep.
Understood. Let's try to make haste for finding this captain's quarters so we can get to the bridge and get to the bottom of this. Stick together, look around. I don't know. Let's see. I think everyone's going north.
I need everyone to make a fitness plus medicine difficulty 1.
Would you accept survival as a focus for me, potentially?
Sure.
I'm going to use a momentum.
Yeah, complications.
Gain a momentum, there is a complication. Uh, 2 momentum gained.
I'm going to spend a momentum.
Wow.
Someone wants to roll for Vigo? It's first activation, so need to note that. Doesn't get anything yet, but...
Right. You said, let's see, I'll roll them real quick then. Fitness, medicine.
Roll D20 Vogel. Because you bought a dice.
Get threat.
Yep.
I would like to. I think for Solak, we got a complication here. We should probably give threat to buy that off. As much as it sucks that we're giving him 4 threat to buy the complication off, I think we.
There's 2
probably
complications.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
So,
I
2 for me,
would
2
note.
for him. I would say we should spend threat to buy these off.
I would note that that's kind of pointless because the GM can just spend that same 2 threat right back at us to create a complication.
Yes.
The idea is that you are delaying it. The GM is supposed
Right.
to spend it later. You are delaying it from happening now.
Which I still think is probably a good idea, right? I mean, if we've identified that there's potentially a sickness going on here. If it just theorizing that this is like the beginning stages of that, if we delay that, that's good. I mean, he has 12 threat anyways,
to spend
right?
it immediately right now, then we know the safer game we're playing.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Is that what you'd want to do there, Captain? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
This is still a game. We're all players here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna keep the complication. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm doing this. I'm doing this solely for narrative fun.
Yeah. We're testing the waters for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am keeping mine as well.
Did you get a comp?
I did. No, wait a minute. I didn't get a complication.
No, you didn't. It was just
yeah.
Kavala.
So the captain and Joral failed. I think everyone actually succeeded.
Yeah.
Jorval did not.
Yeah, Jorval failed, and so did the captain. It was Solak and Keval that
I passed, but I had a complication. So
yeah,
and
so did Keval. So
for those that failed, you start get your head starts getting like a headache. I guess I'll take the 2 threat.
Yeah,
I'm going to read up on that because it is definitely supposed to be optional for the GM. That I can kind of refuse that, but
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't know how to.
1A,
for
1A specifically says the player can choose it as well.
Yes, the player can ask the GM to take threat for that.
No, I posted the screenshot in the
I saw
channel.
that. Yes, I'm not going to argue this right now. So, but I'm going to continue on. I will take the threat currently. Okay.
Works for me.
Yeah. So for those who have failed, you currently have a slight headache. Solak, for the complication, you feel fine. But for the next time you make this task roll, you'll have an increased difficulty.
Okay.
Got it.
Makes sense. Okay. All right. Is that something that anyone verbalizes or vocalizes?
The captain will stumble, grasp a bulkhead with one hand, grasp her forehead with the other. Looks like she's having a little bit of spell.
I'll come steady you, Captain.
Not sure what just came over me, Commander.
Can you attempt to explain?
If I didn't know any better, I felt some sort of telepathic presence, but I'm more concerned maybe the heat might be getting to me.
Here, Captain, I brought some extra
fine.
water.
Thank you, Commander. I should be all right.
Lieutenant Elg, can you do a quick medical scan, please? Yeah, can Elg do a scan?
It would be Vigo. He's Bajoran. Their first names are their last names.
We all mixing it up here.
Oh God, yeah, you're right.
So it would be Lieutenant Vigo.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I guess we'll have him do a quick check, see if there's any differences or.
Reason medicine difficulty 1.
The captain looks a little annoyed. She doesn't like being fussed over, but she knows better than to complain in this situation.
Copy. Okay. You said reason medicine on him, difficulty 1?
Yes.
Field medicine as a focus? Yay, nay?
I'm going to set to say nay.
Copy. Cool.
Captain, I am unsure the cause for your headache, though your blood pressure is elevated.
Lieutenant Vigo, you might want to scan me too. You know how the CMO log said something about a headache? Well, I got one.
All right. Then might I recommend we do a more rapid check of the captain's quarters in the bridge, and then return to the Navajo to get full medical scans. We can always return later to complete our investigation. But if prolonged exposure to the atmosphere has a negative effect, then we need to temper our time planetside, yes?
I saw more doors to crew quarters this way.
All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit.
Honestly, I don't know what the fuss is about. I don't want to have to point out that it was the 2 telepaths that had a headache. Perhaps we did feel something. It's not medical at all.
I find that unlikely, Captain, because these are the same symptoms the Hornet's chief medical officer described.
I concur with Lieutenant Jorven's assessment. It is.
Don't corner me with your well-reasoned argument. Let's go.
Unfortunately, I will have to respectfully deny that order.
Very good, Commander.
Which quarters
Fair
are?
enough.
They're two like junior officers' quarters,
Mhm.
so it's a shared quarters essentially.
Any skeletons in here?
No.
Alrighty. Alright, I guess just slowly check one at a time. I guess just stick together. Check your corners. All that type of shit.
This looks to be another junior officer's quarters.
Alright.
There's
an
one
office.
skeleton in there.
There's one skeleton in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Captain, where you're at, you see two skeletons, and a pipe, rammed through one of. It looks like it's wrapped through the rib cage of one of them and broke several broken ribs.
Oh.
Lieutenant, everyone, honestly.
I'll come back.
This seems out of place.
Oh, it appears he was attacked. Most likely, looks like that blunt force trauma was the cause of this one's death.
The chief medical officer's log mentioned headaches and fatigue, but mentioned nothing about violent behavior.
Hostility.
Or hostility.
Psychological stress. It could have been could be affecting each of them somewhat differently. If the prolonged exposure to the atmosphere causes psychological stress, someone could have had a mental break of some sort.
I'll look around the scene. Is there signs of a struggle? Signs of fight?
The way the skeleton remains look, it's hard to tell like if there was, but it really appears like
knocked over furniture.
Yeah, the furniture is displaced. So there could have been some sort of struggle here. Clearly, the one guy was murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other guy is just a skeleton. Is he on a chair? Is he on the floor?
He's actually next to the other guy. But it's unclear what killed him.
Okay.
Do we know what rank they are?
I mean, their clothing is torn, but they're both like ensigns.
Gotcha. Are these boxes in the middle of the hallway any significance?
They're empty. There appears to be medical supplies, but they're empty.
Understood.
Giving them a quick patrol. Beta Zep prayer.
Gotcha. Oh, this looks like a big room, maybe.
That is the captain's quarters.
Okay, here we go.
Right here.
So down the hallway and then up. Look at over here. Alright, so that's we found the captain's quarters, which I think is the priority on this deck. Okay.
Do we see any skeletons in here?
Yes, you see what appears to be, the captain, given the rank insignia and stuff.
Where? On the bed and the desk? Where?
On the bed.
Okay.
Captain, you might want to take a look at this.
I'm on my way.
Okay. Oh, and every 10 minutes I've been doing a quick check into the Navajo just to keep faith timeline wise.
And I point into the bedroom in there, and I say, that looks to be the captain, sir. I check the captain's desk to see if there are any tapes.
There's 3 tapes.
I take one of the tapes and I look at the captain. I say, Captain, with your permission, I think these might be the captain's logs.
I do think it's interesting. Unsure if it's good or bad, but it's interesting that he died peacefully. And
He might have just.
Not on his coast.
It might have been when he was trying to rest.
Well, let's find out what we can. Go ahead and play those tapes, Commander.
I take one of the tapes, just whichever one. I don't know if there's any sort of designation on them, GM, and I put it in and I press play.
Captain's log, USS Hornet, stardate 7542.1. Captain Jonathan Reynolds recording. We have crash landed on an uncharted planet after encountering an unexpected energy surge. Initial scans indicate the planet to be largely uninhabited, though dense jungle covering much of the surface. The ship has suffered significant damage, but we are fortunate there are no casualties among the crew. Our priority now is to assess the situation, repair the ship, and ensure the safety of all personnel. I remain hopeful that we may find a way to return to Federation space.
I take out that disc. I take the second one. I put it in and press play.
Blah, blah, blah. Stardates 544.6. Captain Jonathan Reynolds recording. Our attempts to repair the ship have been met with limited success. The damage sustained during the crash was more extensive than we initially realized, and our resources are dwindling. Supplies are running low, and morale among the crew is beginning to falter. The symptoms experienced by many crew members have only worsened. Despite the best efforts of our medical team, we are faced with the grim reality. Without assistance, our chances of survival are slim, and I have made the difficult decision to send out a distress signal in hopes that someone will hear our call and come to our aid. Time is running out, and we have to find a way to overcome these obstacles if we are to make it out of this place alive.
That would confirm that the captain ordered the distress signal to be sent.
It sounds. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It sounds like he ordered the distress signal after some time after crash landing. Is that correct?
Well, there were attempts to repair the vessel and then remove. If you recall, during this particular time, there were not very many starships and virtually no communication buoys out here at that time. So help would take significant time for them to reach them. In the meantime, they would do everything they could to repair the ship. It might explain why the warp core does not function. That might have been a result of the crash. I take the third disc, I put it in, and I press play.
Captain's final log, USS Hornet, stardate unknown. Captain Jonathan Reynolds recording. It is with a heavy heart I make this final log entry. The situation aboard the Hornet has become untenable. It is clear that our time is running out. Despite our best efforts, we have been unable to overcome the challenge we face, and the prospect of survival grows increasingly dim. The crew has shown remarkable resilience in the face of adversity, and I am proud to serve along each and every one of them. Their dedication and courage have been unwavering, even in the darkest time. But now, as our resources dwindle and our options vanish, it is clear that our journey must come to an end. I want to express my deepest gratitude to my crew for their unwavering loyalty and commitment. It has been an honor to lead such a remarkable group of individuals, and I'm humbled by their strength and determination. I also want to extend my thanks to Starfleet Command for their support and guidance throughout this ordeal. As we prepare to face whatever fate awaits us, I find solace in knowledge that our sacrifice will not have been in vain. Though we have not survived this to see the revolution of our journey, I have faith that our legacy will endure. inspiring future generations to continue this pursuit of knowledge and exploration. To whoever finds this log, know that we face our final moments with courage and dignity. United in our determination to uphold the principles of Starfleet and the spirit of exploration that defines us as a species. May our story serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of knowledge, and it may inspire others to continue their journey we have begun. This is Captain Jonathan Reynolds of the USS Hornet signing off for the final time. Godspeed.
Captain, this would suggest that the distress signal was on when the USS Lexington was in this vicinity searching for the Hornet. If the captain ordered that the signal be turned on and they were able to survive for the time that they were able to survive, the Lexington should have been able to hear the distress beacon.
Something doesn't add up here, Commander. That much is certain.
Indeed. Is it possible that the distress beacon has been turned on this whole time and we just happened to pick it up? Perhaps because our communications are more advanced today than the communications were 100 years ago? That there's something about the interference or the energy that we don't quite understand that was blocking the signal?
The time for speculation is over, I think. We owe it to these men and women to determine what exactly happened to them and tell their story. And I think that we're going to find that knowledge on the bridge.
Agreed.
I do have a question. How long do you guys wish to go? Usually we stop at this point, but
I actually have to jump off because it is dinner time for me.
Same here, to be honest.
Oh, copy. Okay.
all right. With that though, we're gonna bring the session to a close here,
Nice.
and then we're gonna pick this up next week.